Let's take a look at this still life painting I did as a tutorial for my Patreon, and let's just try and think about values, meaning how light or dark certain things are. Meaning, what's probably going to be the darkest value? It's probably going to be this background. All right, what's probably going to be the lightest? Probably this little highlight, like, any of these little highlights, which, by the way, look, are not pure white. And so everything else is going to kind of fall in between these. And as a painter, the better you are at being able to place these, especially when looking at something in color, you can always take a photo and put it in black and white and it makes it a lot easier. But being able to look at it in color and be able to compare and be like, "Ooh, that's lighter than this, but that's darker than that," the better your paintings are going to be. And I feel like it's such a telltale sign of somebody's level of painting when I see how good and how subtle they can be at dialing in these values. For example, you might look at this and think, "Oh, that's one of the brightest values. That's definitely going to be brighter than, say, like this part of the lemon." But it's really not. If I put this into black and white, look, that was the ribbon, and it's actually darker. So don't get color saturation and confused with value, which I will talk about in just a minute. But it's easy to get the big differences right. Like, it's easy to know that, okay, yeah, like this is the darkest value. And then, yeah, like this is lighter. That's easy to do. But understanding subtle values, like if I were to ask you, is that lighter or is this lighter? You know, is what's is this darker or is the ground darker? Like comparing those two values. Being able to do that is going to just help you so much. All right, welcome to Paint Coach. If you're new to the channel, my name is Chris Fornatero and I help thousands of students every single month get better at oil painting through my online courses and tutorials. So we're talking about being able to compare elements in your painting, specifically colors and values. And I want to talk about values just a little bit more before we jump into color. Now, one of the things I do to help me see at least the initial start and the initial big value relationships is squint my eyes. When you squint your eyes, it makes it easier to tell what's darker and what's lighter, big picture wise. All right, so I blurred it here and it's easy to kind of point out like the big hierarchy of values. This it's definitely relatively light, but this is definitely lighter. This is really light. That's really light. This is probably the lightest. This is lighter, but it's definitely darker than, say, this or this right here. So when you first start, squint your eyes and try and get those in at the beginning. All right, now let's talk a little bit about how to actually go about doing this. So here are the cliff notes for the painting. And you see, I like to work dark to light. One, I just find it easier to lay lighter colors on top of darker colors, but also I feel like it helps me gauge and compare values, especially when I have a value that's pretty much just black, like this right here. I get that in because then I can use that to compare other colors to, because I know I got that in right. Now you can always adjust as you go. Like I definitely did that with the ground here. I put it in, but like once I got this ice in that's relatively light, it made me realize, ooh, I could probably push that a little lighter. So you can see by this frame here, this ground has gotten significantly lighter than what it was in the previous one. So being able to put something in that you're very confident that's right, like this really dark black, is going to help you compare values. And I always try to put the dark in and then see if I can like inch my way forward. Like, all right, that's the darkest value. What's the next lightest value? And, as far as like the bottle goes, once I started putting in different value shapes, I put these in right here, which are lighter, but they're not that much lighter. I made sure to get those in first before I put like these little lighter ones on, or, this brightest bright right there. Same down here. I kind of put in these and this. I kind of waited to the end to like brighten that area, this brightest area right here, because I didn't know how bright to make it, honestly, until I got other areas of the painting in. I always say painting a painting's like putting together a puzzle, and the more pieces you have, the easier it is to solve for the missing pieces. And sometimes you have to like leave a section of the painting, get some values in another section to help you figure out that section that you were struggling with. So take a look at this margarita glass. I put it in pretty simple and basic. It's this one color that just gets a little bit lighter as it goes, but it's definitely relatively dark. Because then I went in and put in and worked in those lighter values for the ice. I didn't want to put the light values in and then try and put the dark in around it. Started dark and kind of pulled the lights out of it. All right, now let's talk about comparing colors and more specifically color saturation. Remember when I showed you how this, you would think, oh, that was brighter than this, but it's really just more saturated. And understanding color saturation and being able to compare color saturation is going to help a lot. If you don't understand what I mean with color saturation, I mean, like how much you neutralize a color with its complement, meaning there's a few amount of different kind of greens here. Like this is a green right there. It's pretty brown green. This is a green as well. It's kind of a still pretty dirty green. Now we're kind of getting more towards orange. And then we got like this really saturated green, meaning, you mix blue and yellow, you get a green. It's like green straight out of the tube. And you need to put in green's complement, which is red, to neutralize it. And for example, a reason that this lime pops is because it's more saturated in color than what's behind it. I can actually pull out the little color chart here and you see where it is. The closer it gets to that corner or up, it's going to get more saturated. And then if I click here, you see how much further down to the left to the gray side that it is? That's because it's not as saturated. Whereas like here, and it's a little more saturated, but it's mainly just more light. Whereas here, look how much further over and bright and saturated that is. So you want to be paying attention to value, but also color saturation, desaturating the color. Like this ground, I see it as a desaturated purple pretty much. Same right here, desaturated. Up here gets a little bit more saturated in color. But the fact that I have all these areas like here and here and here and here that are relatively desaturated, when I do go in with a very bright, very saturated color like this ribbon or like this blue in the glass, it's going to have that much more impact. So many times I see students work and they have so many saturated colors because saturated colors look cool, but then nothing really pops. Like they would go to put in this ribbon and it wouldn't pop because everything else is very saturated. So you have to be able to compare those as well. Now, if you're like me, you like multiple examples. So let's do another example here. All right, here we go. We got an old fashioned with some Maker's Mark. It's actually my favorite cocktail. I had fun doing these little cocktail paintings. I haven't done them in a while. I have a few others on my Patreon page. And I was like, I haven't done these in a while. And I set up one. I was like, I'm going to set up another one too. So this margarita painting that I did, and most of the paintings you see here on my channel are actually tutorials on my Patreon page. And if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. It's pretty much my art school, I guess you could say. I literally have hundreds of painting tutorials on there of all different subjects, from landscapes, portraits, still life, animals. And when you sign up, you have access to all of them. You also have access to the Paint Coach private Facebook page that I think has close to 1,000 students in there as well. So you can like post your work to other students that are learning just like you. You can get advice, give advice, share resources. It's just a great positive painting community. So if you really want to level up your painting and check out the Paint Coach Patreon, there's a link to that in the description of this video. Here, let's look at values real quick. Actually, I'm just going to put this into black and white so you can really see the values here. I mean, look at the red. Remember how bright and like how much that red at the top here stood out? But look how dark it is. See, that right there is like really understanding values. I mean, look how dark everything is. Like you look at it, you see like orange and yellow, like it looks bright, and same here. And like all this, like this looks really, really bright. But when you put it into black and white, it really comes into focus of what's brightest. And even this metallic here, I feel like people who struggle painting glass or metal, it's really about dialing in the values. I mean, look at the metal right here. Like none of these colors are that bright. They're all relatively dark. So when I do go in with that bright highlight, it's really going to pop and it's really going to stand out. Same right here with this. I have a bunch of other like highlights and stuff in here, but they're not nearly as bright as that. So when I do put that in, it's really going to pack a lot of punch to it. All right, now talking about color saturation, that's what's happening a lot here in this glass and also up here. Like this color is just more saturated. And so it's going to pop more amongst all these like desaturated colors. Same down here, you got this color You know, that's kind of brownish, but when I get into here and start popping in more vibrant color, meaning not neutralizing it so much with a complement, it's really gonna pop a lot more. You know, looking at this label here, like these colors have been neutralized a good amount, and I really save it for the certain areas to make those really pop. So let's see exactly how I painted this. All right, got the cliff notes here, and you see I did a very similar thing in that started with the dark, and I kind of made this first, and I kind of use this as a key. I'll do this sometimes. I'll kind of get one part dialed in and then use it as a key, meaning here I got the light side figured out, I got the shadowed side figured out, and I got a highlight figured out. So I'm pretty happy with this and I feel like it's working. So as I move around the painting, I'm going to be comparing everything I do to this, if that makes sense. So when I come down here, kind of lay things in, you know, more dark and more desaturated first, bigger shapes first. And as I go, I'll start finding areas of more saturation, lighter values, and smaller shapes. The size of which you work kind of coincides with what I'm talking about with colors and values. I feel like I always start with a lot of times bigger, simple, darker, desaturated shapes and work to smaller, brighter, saturated shapes. If that makes sense. It's not like a 100% all the time. It's just like kind of in general. Like when I'm painting, I will bounce around, bounce back and forth from dark to light, big to small. But in general, that's kind of the flow that I go with. But when I put this in, I put it in with just the shadow and the light. And this light is the darkest light that I can. That way I can stack lighter values on top. And you can see there, I took this and I put it in and then, you know, went a little lighter here and then put these brighter light values in there. Had some other lighter values down there. Put in like this tan label was reflected a little into there. And it's just a lot easier to start with the darker shapes and then stack the lighter shapes on top. I know I'm repeating myself a lot, but it's really important. And then, you know, you get to the end here and it's really kind of these final shapes, like these subtle reflections right in there. The bright reflections there, they're going to form the edges of the glass, and making sure I didn't go too bright with any of the colors or values in the glass. So when I did put in this really bright white value right there, it would pop and it would work. So the lesson of this video is always be trying to practice and get better at your ability to observe and compare values and colors. Some things that you can do to get better at this is paint in just black and white, just one color, monochrome. You can do that from a black and white photo. If you want to really push yourself, try and do a black and white painting from a color photo. I actually have a few exercises like that on my Patreon page. Another thing you can do is just like as you're painting, take a picture of your painting, take a picture of the photo you're using and put them in black and white and compare the values. All right. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you have questions about this, leave those questions in the comments section. I love seeing them. That's how I get ideas to make new videos. I'm Chris Fornatero here telling you to go get painting.